Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Excuse the eyes. It's been a minute, a whole minute, and hopefully I could actually keep this up. And I guess I should be welcoming myself back also, because how can one person be gone for that long? But knowing me, I don't have consistency, so let's just say we'll be grateful as and when I actually do upload a video. But I'm so glad that most of you have stuck around. If you are new and have been waiting for a new video, well, I'm here, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tumelo Modipa. Faith is my other name. The story is very long. Maybe we'll talk about it one day. Same difference. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. As you know, I actually just do a bunch of stuff. But I think my favorite part of my videos is actually really when I do money videos or when I talk about money. So I'm back today with a video that talks about money, and we will be talking about credit score. So in essence, I will be telling you guys how I got my credit score from a 0 to the 600s, and I will tell you guys all about how I did that and how you could also help or increase your credit score, so it's not just at one place but that it's actually moving. To start this video off, I think it's best to mention that it's a small disclaimer, I will be looking down a lot, mostly because I wrote down notes and they're on my laptop, so I think it's just best, so be mindful of that. I always like to begin these money videos with saying that I'm in no way implying that I'm a financial advisor, but it's mostly a whole lot of what I have learned, what I've observed over the years and at present, and a whole bunch of what I've done. Hence, when I was explaining, I said this video is going to be mostly about how I got my credit score from a 0 to above 600. So I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just someone who really likes talking about money or finances. Let's use the word finances. Yeah. To start the video off, I think it's best to start with basic financial terms, which for the purposes of this video are credit score, credit lenders, and I don't remember what else I have on the list, so I'll have to look down. So the first one is, what is credit? Basically, credit is when you go to a store, right? Whether to buy a product or to just receive a service. And what happens then is you don't actually pay for the service or for the product when you get it, but you pay for it later, whether once off or in installments, or however the agreement is between you and the lender. Now, the lender, what is a lender? A lender potentially is a person who lends you money. In this case, usually then they would add an interest to however much they have given you as credit. And then what is the other one? The other one I have for you guys is a credit score, which is in essence is the whole reason for this video. So a credit score is a number. Yes, it's a number. It's a number that lenders, mostly financial institutions, they use that number to assess a person's behavior, credit behavior, your risk and worthiness. So credit behavior, like I said, is your risk or worthiness. Credit behavior being, how do you pay credit? Do you pay it on time? How much credit do you take, and how often do you take credit? So that is just the basic terminology to take note of as we go along. So let's start with my story, because I think then that will help us understand a little bit and also why I actually just decided to do this video. So I discovered in 2021, which is actually last year. So I discovered in early 2021 that I have a non-existent credit score. I think the reason why I actually learned that was because I wanted to take a certain item out on credit on the hopes to actually build on my credit score. But at the time, I actually did not know that my credit score was at a 0. So obviously, because of no credit record, I could not get that specific item out on credit. So then what now? Obviously, you are wondering then, how did I get my credit score, or how did I get to know that my credit score is at a 0? I will tell you guys about that a little later in the video. So then what did I do? I had options. One was I tried to apply for a store account a clothing account, so that then that way they could track that if I take clothes for this much, I need to pay back this much. Am I able to pay it back on time, and the anticipated amounts? That failed. Not on my part, but on the specific store's part, the store I will not mention. I filled in the application. Well, I did not even actually fill in the application. What I had to do is I had to send an SMS of sort, but I had to do something before the initial big application, if there really is a big application. But they never got back to me, and I think for a while I was like, I don't really need to take anything out on credit anyway. I can really just live off of how I've been living, buying things on cash, and basically just how I've been doing. And then, but I realized in the long term, maybe that is not the smartest decision I'm making for myself, purely because unless if I decide that I am going to live off of buying things cash throughout my entire life, then that's fine. But then that's not what I want to do. No. So I need to have some sort of credit record. So what I did was I got a credit card. I know it's very scary because credit card, every second person will probably tell you not to get a credit card, but there are tips and tricks that I learned, and I got advice first before actually getting a credit card. So I got a credit card, and so obviously you fill in an application. The best way to get a credit card, no hassles and everything, is to actually do it through the bank that you already use. So they already have your salary information and all those things, so you would just then get the credit card with your financial bank. And I did that with the bank that I use, and the process was actually very seamless. I actually did all that off of my banking app. I didn't need to go to a branch. I didn't need to fill in any form, paper or whatever. I just did it over the cell phone banking app. And obviously I had a specific limit. I did not take the whole amount, but I just took like a small amount, just so I could use the money and then pay it back as if nothing ever happened. I'll tell you the trick that I was taught. So my sister said to me, it's fine, take a credit card, but what you should do is whenever you go to the shops, calculate how much you're gonna need. Let's say I'm gonna go spend 200 rands, and I could just use my normal transactional card, but instead of using my normal transactional card, transfer the money from my transactional account into my credit card, and then technically use my account and not even the bank's money, which is what I did. But sometimes I did use the bank's money and then transfer the money right after, and that's how I kept up. Obviously then they see that I am actually using their credit cards, and then I'm paying it back. I'm paying back on time, and I'm paying back the full amounts. So obviously then that tells you about my behavior, that I pay back on time and I pay back the right amounts. And I only, well, I think actually even now I only have the one form of credit, so I don't take out a lot of credit at once. I just had that one form of credit, so that's then how they're able to then check my credit behavior. I think in a space about 3 months, because I don't remember when exactly my credit score then moved from the 0 to yes, but in a space of 3 months I was from 0 to 600 and I think 607 or 17 in a space of 3 months after getting my credit cards. So here's the thing with a credit card. So a credit card comes with 2 options: straight and budget. Never use the amount in the budget, just use straight. I was also told not to use budget. I forgot the reason why, but I make sure never to touch the money that goes into budget. But either way, my bank actually, I don't usually have that option straight to use the budget. It's one of those when you get to the till and they ask you straight or budget. So when they ask you that, opt for straight. So the other thing is, as much as I had a specific limit, I decided to only take a specific amount. And out of the specific amount that I chose to take, I only just also use a certain percentage. I don't use that whole amount, all of it, because then that also just makes me look like I'm so much dependent on credit and not on my own source of income. So literally that is how I got my credit score from a 0 to a 600. That was just by making use of credit that was actually readily available to me from my bank. So that's my story. Be sure to share your story about your credit score journey in the comments. Well, I keep saying how I got my score from this to the 600s. So the scoring is from a 0 to 999. So what they consider to be a fair score is in the 650s. So that's when they can actually consider you for your big loans, like a home loan. Not that they'll give you the whole amount, but maybe they might just give you a certain percentage of the loan amount that you want. But only, of course, if you qualify, because there are other factors that they look into whether you qualify. You might have a good credit score, but you might not earn enough or have what either be your salary and other incomes. They might not be enough to actually pay for that home loan. So yeah, that's the range for the credit score. Well, the scoring, yes. So, but then again, you'd wonder how they calculate. This is how they calculate. Like I said, the number is literally based on your behavior, your worthiness, and your risk. So that in terms of your worthiness and your risk, it's more like, do you pay on time? Do you pay the right amounts? If, let's say, for instance, with my credit card, I opted to pay the full amount. And then there's another option where you pay in installments. So maybe, let's say, if you took out, let's say your total credit is, let's say, 1,000 rands, maybe then every month you must pay 200 rands, regardless of how much you've used. But in my case, I decided, let's say my limit is 1,000. If I'm going to use 500 of the 1,000, I'm going to have to pay back the 500 rands like immediately, and not over installments over a specific period of time, but I need to pay back the exact amount I used, I think, in 30 days from when I used it. So that is also one of the options. So do I actually pay on time, and do I actually pay the amount? So that is one thing they look at. The other thing is your types of credit, because there's your credit card, there's your car, your insurance. There's so many types of credit. Home loan, how long have you had the credit? That actually is something they consider. How long have you had the credit? The amount of the credit, um, how much of it do you use? So experts actually suggest that you use 30% of your allowed credit. So if, let's say for instance, with the credit card, you are given a credit card with an amount of 1,000 rands, 30% of 1,000 is 300 rands. So try and stick to actually just using 300 instead of the whole 1,000 rands. So that also just highlights that you are not that dependent on credit to be using your whole balance or allowed amount, but you're just using a certain percentage. And then the other one is repayment history, which I think I've already touched on. Do you pay on time? Do you pay the full amount? The other thing is they would look at things like, has there ever been a judgment against you? Like, have you ever had to go to court because when you are owing? It's one of those things, even when you fill in a form, they'd ask you, do you have some criminal thingies and judgments against you? It's also just because of these financial stuff. Yes, those are just some of the factors that they look at when they calculate. I think the easiest ways to get your credit score moving, it might not move as fast as mine did, but it will get you going somewhere. If let's say you are literally at a zero like I was, you could look into getting a cell phone contract. You could look into getting a clothing account. But I think the most important thing to mention is you need to be able to stick to an amount that you know you'll be able to pay. So don't take the limit that they offer you, but know the limit that you can actually afford. So if they offer you 1,000 and you can't afford 1,000, maybe just say, can I at least take 500 or 200 of what you want to give me? Okay, so cell phone and retail accounts. So those are mostly clothing accounts. A credit card. What else? Yeah, so do all those things. So let's say you've gotten all those accounts or just one of those. Make sure to always pay it on time and pay the right amounts. And the other big thing is never take up too much credit at the same time, because what that also says is you are so reliant on credit that you're taking up so much at the same time. And what also happens with that is that obviously before they approve you for credit, they check your behavior, obviously. So you might want to apply for credit the next time, and the only reason they don't approve you is because when you took out credit last week and the week before that and the month previously. So those are just some of the most minor things that you need to actually consider, so as to not get yourself in a position where you are viewed as a terrible person or unworthy to be given credit to. So okay, I think the last thing that I'd want to mention is, how do you then check your credit score? I only know of two service providers or platforms, one being ClearScore and then the other one is Experian. I know there are other ones, it's just I don't have experience with those, so I cannot speak of something I don't have experience to. So what I know with the credit score is you get one free report annually, which means the minute you request a new one, a second one in 1 year, you'll probably have to pay for that one. The fees, I have no idea, but I use ClearScore. So obviously I get one report per year, but the nice thing with them is that every month they have this thing where they update you on what has happened in the previous month, which is a good way to actually track or to just look for irregularities. If a scammer somewhere tried to take out credit in your name, because this is the thing that actually does happen, where next thing your account is being debited for things you don't know, but somebody somehow, and when you try to trace it, they tell you, but you have this sort of account, hence why it's being debited. So when the report comes through, or the updated report comes through every month, then you're able to see all these irregularities, whether there's a new account in your name, you know, if you've paid on time and all those things. So literally that was the gist of the video. Credit score from a 0 to 600. I honestly need to say that I think for me that felt so good that I'm actually seeing how it's moving, and I try to track how I spend, especially with my credit card, in a way that I'm never late for my payments, and I never pay much less than what I took out. If anything, I top up my credit card to more than the actual limit or allowable amount that I'm given by my bank. That way I'm always safe. And what else? I think that's just what I had for you guys. It'd be so nice to hear your stories in the comments, what you're doing differently. I know I'm just having one source of credit at the moment, yes, to just work on my credit score. But how has your journey been? I know a lot of people are opposed to taking out credit, but you need to also recognize or realize that there's good credit and there's bad credit. In this case, I took out credit so it could be good credit for me, so I could get a really good credit score. I'm not being careless or with the credit that I'm given, but I'm being very, what is the word? I'm being very disciplined with it, in the sense that, like I said, I pay on time and I pay the right amount. So that is literally just about it. I want to thank you guys so much if you've stuck around until this long. A good luck with your credit score journey if you are about to begin that journey. It's a learning curve for all of us, but stick to an amount you can afford, please. That's how you get it right. If it means you have to start with 100 rands only, just start with 100 rands only. Thank you guys for sticking around. My goodness, why am I saying thank you a lot? I haven't been here in a while, but I will see you guys in the next video, hopefully very soon. But you know, be good, live your best lives, be blessed, be safe still. I know there's no longer a state of disaster, but one can never care enough for their health. So I'll see you guys definitely in the next video.